Bay Rising is an alliance of 3 different risings: Oakland Rising, San Francisco Rising, and Silicon Valley, and we represent over 30 grassroots organizations that have banded together to create this rising model to really engage their communities around civic engagement. So our organizations have been organizing and doing work in communities for over 40 years, and now they've all said, hey, we actually have to come together to shift energy and work around civic engagement and get our folks to the polls, but also get our folks to run for office, right? So actually bringing people of color, workers, women into this model of civic engagement and actually get them connected to elections. So our shared work is we do research and analysis at a regional level. We have a shared voter guide, we do staff and volunteer training, and we do campaign support, as well as media outreach. And the idea that you can't just talk about one issue in one city, you've got to talk about what's happening around in the Bay is an important theme. Each of the risings, though, has their distinct flavors. Oakland Rising actually has 80% of their staff on the field team are formerly incarcerated people. They're organizing in East Oakland. They have about a base of over 60,000 people. San Francisco Rising, also in terms of community organizations deeply rooted in the community. They've helped to pass higher living wage, paid sick days, city healthcare program, free city college in San Francisco, as well as their organizers' staff candidate campaigns, right? So they've created their organization so that they could then work on C4 campaigns. And then Silicon Valley Rising is our newest rising, where they're working to fight tech companies that are coming in and helping San Jose in terms of living wage, organizing the workers. They actually got the first part-time worker protections in the country, as well as fighting for housing and renters' rights. So really collectively, when you think of all the risings, we reach almost 180,000 working class voters. You can look at the breakdown. Our risings actually run the largest field campaigns in their cities. So they are working with the unions, they're working with other community organizations, and they're helping to run the largest field campaigns. And in terms of having this regional analysis, things that lift up to the top, obviously housing, right? Housing is the issue for everybody. And it's not just about building affordable housing, it's actually protecting renters' rights and people's right to stay, as well as fighting displacement. Development, making sure there's good union jobs, transportation, fair development, all those things. In terms of opportunities, I can't list them all, but at a local level, again, housing, education, immigration, sanctuary cities. At a regional level, there's just the growth that's happening. At a statewide level, I'll talk a little bit more in a second, but there are a number of issues that collectively, having all these different organizations working together can make a difference. So as 2018 comes up, we've got elections. All 3 cities have mayors running this time around, city council, board of supervisors, school board, all these different elections, again, having a shared analysis about this, and ballot measures. We have Make It Fair, voter restoration, early childhood education, college for all. But obviously, continuing to organize around the right to stay, the impact of tech, and I think I'm a broken record here, but these are the key issues, right? Sanctuary city, even though at the federal government all these things are happening, it's locally where it matters, how we fight back. So Bay Rising then is helping to anchor Bay Resistance. Bay Resistance is a larger vehicle that eBase, SEIU, SF Rising, Jobs with Justice have come together to help create a space for folks that want to resist the federal agenda that's happening. And in about 4 to 5 months, we actually have 16,000 people now that are in our text messaging alert system so that we can be doing rapid response. And the key point about Bay Resistance is that it's actually led by the people most affected by these attacks. So people of color, women, senior and disabled, people from the Arab community, public and private sector workers, they're all part of the leadership of Bay Resistance. And so through that, we've been doing actions. We did Resist Trump Tuesdays for his first 100 days in office, and so this is where the intersectionality comes in. 1 week was education, another week was healthcare, another week was climate justice, and so just different groups now coming together to fight what's happening. San Francisco Actions, thousands of people came out. We had a mass meeting to try to give people more of this political framing, because that's actually what's really important in this moment. Even though there's Indivisible and Swing Left and all these new groups that are coming up, our groups have the analysis and the connection to the community, and so it's really important that we're providing that structure. And then just this last slide I wanted to bring up was the 4 million people that came out for the women's marches. You can see there's lots of folks that we need to engage. There's lots of folks that we want to connect with and build with. And lots of people are pissed off. And so what can we do together? So Bay Resistance, trying to create this space to engage all these folks that are angry. So supporting and coordinating actions, a cultural strategy, communications, trainings. We're providing all of this, again, a larger container for folks who want to come out together. So Bay Resistance also was created as a C4 so that we could have the freedom to do whatever we wanted to do. So in terms of fighting white supremacy, in terms of all these different things that are happening, we're able to come together and do more. And the big thing actually I also want to lift up is this issue of security. So a lot of our organizations and our leaders have been under attack. Some of them have been doxxed, which means their private information has been put out into the public. So we've been doing security trainings for them. And so now really this idea of shifting resistance to power. So in one weekend, we got 2,300 people to say they wanted to come out to support people around ICE raids. Just the 16,000 people on our text alert. We do weekly phone banks, we're doing weekly actions. And so all of this stuff that's happening, we need more support. And so the recommendations around supporting long-term local organizing, so our folks being the leaders of this resistance, that this is the moment to double down on those folks. Like, it's great that there's shiny new organizations that are popping up, but it's really about investing in the local groups.